What's up, Will and Grace fans? Some of our old favorite characters are back in this emotional episode of Will and Grace Rosario's Quinceanera. Season 9, Episode 6, coming up. Don't click away.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes.
What's up, Will and Grace fans? Oh gosh, you guys, this episode was...
It was hard to watch.
It was very hard to watch.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk about it. I feel like NBC paid a really great tribute to Rosaria's character. I'm excited because we have a new panelist that's going to be joining us. We're going to introduce her in just a second. I am your host, Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. But I am joined by my other amazing co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce those.
Hey guys, Cristal McLaughlin here. You can find me on all social media at Cristal823, and then I'll pass it over to my sidekick here, Sanders.
Hey guys, I'm Sanders Kennedy. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at JustSandsWorld.
And you guys, like I said, we have a new host. She's going to be my sidekick. Go ahead and introduce
I
herself.
have arrived. I'm so excited. My name is Louiza Sharamatyan, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at LuluSharTV, and I am still on Facebook at Louiza Sharamatyan.
Aren't we all? We are still all on Facebook. We all can never let go of Facebook. We're very excited to have you with us,
so
Louisa.
much. I mean, Will and Grace is just home to me, so I'm
Good.
so happy to be here.
Perfect. We will miss Nakia, but we
Yes.
are sure that you're going to be just as amazing
Thank
as
you.
she is.
Thank you so much.
First thoughts of the episode, you guys. Let me start with our new panelist, Louisa.
I thought it was real. We saw a kind of deeper version of Karen that we know it's inside, and I think it took Will to kind of get it out of her.
Yeah.
And I was wondering where Rosaria was and how they would probably take her out of the show, and I didn't want her to go out like this. I definitely didn't want her to die or have a heart attack.
Right.
But overall, still funny.
Yeah.
It kind of made us relate to why we love the show so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think.
Crystal,
that's
your
it.
first thoughts on the episode.
So sad.
Yeah.
It was so sad, I think it was nice, though, to see that Karen actually has a heart and some compassion, and she is, a human being. So, I mean, that was a nice side to see. There wasn't a lot going on besides, that, which is like a huge thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I thought that it had some, a good balance of, like, showing that Karen is a human being, but also showing
Staying true to their relationship.
Yeah, staying true to the relationship, and the ending was like,
Yeah. Sanders, what was your initial thoughts? of the
Yeah,
episode?
first Selena, now Rosario. Too many people.
Too many.
I have so many emotions about this episode because it's sad that Rosario won't come back. Maybe they can do a flashback and she's an angel, you know.
That's a good. Yeah.
That might,
Yeah.
producers
That's
call
a
me.
good idea.
But, I'm a little bit disappointed in the episode because they kind of threw Grace's mom's death into it. You just throw a piece of banana into your peanut butter and jelly when you don't really plan to do that. So hopefully they come back around and really address that and make it a bigger thing because this is like a huge thing. It's like Grace's mom.
Well, it's funny because if anybody has done research on Will and Grace or have heard what has been being said, the co-creator Max Mutchnick told press at the TCA 2017 Summer Press Tour that Rosario would not be coming back.
Yeah.
Shelley Morrison wanted to retire from acting. It was a very hard decision for them because, as we all know and love, we love Rosario's character. But she just didn't want to come back, and they had to figure out how to deal with that. I agree with you, Sanders. I think that them throwing Debbie Reynolds' death into it, I felt like this was a very good episode. I felt like coming off of our last episode, which was kind of like a filler episode, this one really hit home. I think this is where Will and Grace is. But I agree with you. I think that them just throwing Debbie Reynolds in there.
Yeah, it's Debbie Reynolds. She deserves a whole she deserves 2 parts.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you there. I feel like they should have done a little bit more of a tribute to her instead of making it all about Grace, which stayed true to Grace's character. But I feel like too much of an arc. I mean, she wasn't on the show that much.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do like a RIP for her in this episode. I know she passed away a while ago, but still, I thought it would have been nice to see a little ending credit of that. Let's just start with the beginning of the episode. Sure. So first we have Will and Grace obviously working together.
I don't like.
You don't like it. Well, let's talk about that really quick because we haven't gotten your opinion on this.
Yeah.
I want them to just stay best friends, have their own life, go out, throughout the day, do your thing, come home, and have that bestie thing that they always have. I don't want you guys to go to work together.
I think we all agreed on that.
Yes.
For me.
Yeah.
Wait, she liked
What else
it.
did they give us? But girl, I want to know why.
I don't know. I guess it's just, it gives some. It's going to bring more drama. It definitely is. And so I want to see that. I want to see what else. What do they have? What are they conjuring up, right? I mean, obviously there's something bigger here that they're probably working their way up to.
Right.
So that's what I'm interested in, because we have already seen them be best friends. Mm-hmm. Why not something new?
I'm slowly getting on that train. I think they touched on it a little bit in this episode, and we'll get into it. But we find out where Rosario is going to be, because the title of the episode is Rosario's Quinceanera. So we knew that Rosario was either going to make an appearance or they were going to talk about her. We obviously knew that she wasn't going to actually be seen. So I was interested to see how they do this. Turns out she's in the hospital with a heart attack, and then it goes to the fact that she died. Were you guys expecting for it to take such a dark turn that they would write her off like this?
No, not at all, because I thought if I was like a producer or writer, like, I'll just make her a rich woman who owns an island and make her way richer than Karen. So it's like, you know what, Rosario is like living the high life.
Yeah.
I knew already. Someone
You
told
did?
me. Yeah, someone knew. Someone I know was on the show, and they kind of
Big mouth.
spilled the
Okay,
beans.
but if they hadn't have told you, would you have been surprised?
I wasn't surprised, no, because I already knew she wasn't coming back. Yeah.
But did you think that they would, it's a little drastic, don't you think, guys? Instead of being like, oh, maybe she got deported or something, and this was what maybe turns Karen's, views on Trump or something like that, because they had this little political thing. But they killed her.
Well, who knows what happened? Maybe they had a disagreement about the whole thing. They're a little bitter.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or they just want to show more different sides of Karen.
That's a good point.
She can be empathetic, sentimental, yearning for another companionship throughout the day. We all know that she was so close to her.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they want to explore her a little more.
No, I think you're on the right track with that. I think that them allowing Rosario, or writing Rosario off, and then allowing Karen's character to showcase all these emotions is something that we really haven't seen from her. And I think that's why this episode, for me, was so successful. I want to talk about Grace and Will's kind of ongoing feud throughout the episodes, because they kind of touched on it in the beginning before we found out that Rosario died. Apparently, Will, being the go-getter that he is, took it upon himself to sign a lease that was right next to Grace's office, and now they have double the space. But he didn't tell Grace. Were we surprised?
No.
I was surprised because I thought they already bought the office across from them last season.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they did. I could swear that they did.
Is he trying to expand? Like, he wants his own space, but still be with Grace?
I think that they talked about expanding, and like we've said in the last episode, she has owned this business for quite a few years, and it's time that she has gotten bigger, has done something more with it. So maybe it will take Will's presence or influence to make that happen.
Of course it will, because he's so ambitious, right? He doesn't just do just the bare minimum. He always goes to the top, right?
Absolutely,
so for
being
me,
a corporate attorney.
It's not a big surprise that he's doing
I see it now. I kind of agree with you. How that's why they're just combining them to kind of elevate Grace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as they're not sitting in the office every day, maybe Will's doing his own thing, his own little project thing.
Yes.
But what is he going to be doing? He has no experience in design, you guys.
Well, that's the thing. Like, maybe he does work for her or work with her, whatever they want to choose.
Ooh.
But maybe the scenes with Will, he's probably going on a date, or he's just not working while in the scenes. He's just doing his daily life, and it just like, oh, I came home later from work than you did, or something like that.
Or maybe the business side of it. There's
Financially.
always financially, right? So he doesn't do all the design work, but he is managing the money, and maybe this becomes even bigger than what it ever was.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that with Will's influence, it can become a bigger thing.
Oh, most definitely.
If Grace allows it to.
Yes.
It is her business by the end of the day. It has her
course.
name on it. It's Grace
What
Adler
if she
Designs.
becomes like a Martha Stewart of Target? You know what I
Maybe.
mean? Something like that.
I mean, she's already got these 15 boutique hotels from last
Yes,
episode that she
absolutely.
landed. Big client.
Yeah, hopefully they go back to that.
Hopefully, we'll see.
But
I feel like there is. Did
Check
anybody
something real quick.
does anybody feel like they're rushing a lot of things, like
Of course.
throwing a lot of people? And like last episode was Beverly Leslie. Now it's Minnie Driver, who we'll talk about because I'm really excited about it. And then just Minnie. Like, they're throwing a lot of old characters at us, which wasn't the case in the first couple of episodes. but they were taking it slow.
Yeah.
They were easing in.
They kind of want to give us clarity, if that's what I think that's what they're trying to give us, because they don't have that many. Well, how many episodes do we even have?
That's what I was just looking up. I think they ordered 12 episodes, so we're halfway through the season. But they have another season with another 12 episodes. I think we're used to having 24 episodes for Will and Grace, so they have to fit 24 episode worth of content into 12 episodes, and it's a half an hour. So
and we're waiting. The fans want, we want some answers.
We want to see everybody.
I still want to explore some stuff with Leo.
I'm still waiting for Vince. I have people texting me, legit texting me, like,
gorgeous.
"Where's Vince?"
I'm waiting for Vince as well.
I'm like, I don't work for the show. I do the after show. Okay, relax.
I'm on his page.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do feel like it's a little rushed, but I understand what the writers are trying to do. They're trying to give us everything in, like you said, 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Back to the episode, Rosario's funeral / quinceanera, I thought was a nice tribute. I thought it was a nice touch. I thought that did a very good job at balancing, like Crystal said in the beginning, of the dramatic and the comedy, like they always do. These writers are amazing, you guys. Yeah. There's no disputing that. What did you guys think of making it like a quinceanera / funeral?
That was ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous.
Like a celebration at the same time sending her off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it was funny.
Did you think it was too much, Crystal?
Of course it was.
Did you really?
Yes, of course it was. But it's the show, and it's Rosario and Karen's, relationship. I mean, the dress in the coffin, I was dying. I was like, oh my God, I remember those.
And
like,
the mint.
Yes, that my mom used to tell me never to grab. She'd be like, no, don't grab that. When we'd go through the market. But I don't know. It was ridiculous. Come on, she takes out the cleaning spray to clean the coffin that was in her
That might be the first time she ever cleans anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. I think that's a tribute to how much she cared about Karen.
It was also
funny.
the small
but it was over the
details.
top. Come on. Let's just
It was so Karen, but it's also the small details, like Grace's mint flying into the coffin.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious. Yeah. And the writers know we're watching to laugh at the end of the day. They can't make it, too dramatic and depressing.
Of course.
Yeah. They had a good balance of funny and serious. Yeah.
We loved it. Oh,
one of the characters that I am obsessed with, that I was obsessed with the show, because I thought she just did it brilliantly, was Minute Driver's character Lorraine.
Oh my God.
Lorraine Fenster.
Yeah, and they changed it up a little bit to where, Stan had left Karen for Lorraine, but in this instance, they just say, oh, Lorraine slept with Stan, because technically Stan is A, still alive, and B, still married to Karen. What did you guys think of that little twist? Did you appreciate it, or did you actually like Lorraine with Stan?
I felt like it was a distraction. I felt like it came in for what purpose? I didn't really understand that. Like, what was the whole point of that? Like, we're supposed to be focused on Rosario, maybe do the whole Will and Grace thing, but I wasn't really understanding how that fit in.
I mean, they established that they were essentially family at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it fit in great.
I thought so too. I
liked it.
It was nice. It was fun.
The whole Stan and marriage thing, being that in the original, the older episodes, the whole it just kind of went over my head. I didn't really take it seriously, so I wasn't really paying attention to that anyway. So it didn't really matter to me. Right. But as long as she came back and was funny, I felt like she could have been more wittier. I felt like she held back a little bit.
I don't know. I disagree with you.
I agree. I mean, I wanted her to just stay on a little more. It was pretty short, like her scene. I did love the earring swap.
That was funny.
Amazing.
That was funny.
And the blood clot.
Yes.
thing.
Oh my God. Shout out to that. But yeah, I think she's a fun, guest star, and she can also make the fans more motivated to watch the show.
Right.
So,
I hope they bring her back. I like I said, she's one of my favorite characters from the show because I just think she's so funny, and I feel like they did that justice. Not to mention, Minnie Driver hasn't aged a freaking day.
God,
No.
Gorgeous.
Come on, you guys.
And that purple dress, amazing.
Yes.
Like, what is
Her dress
that?
kind of looks like my top, which is funny.
Like,
nice
yeah. I will always remember her from Tarzan, but whatever. So we not finally understand, because we've always known this, but Karen, Grace always makes it about herself, and she does not fail to do that in this episode. Did you guys think that it was a little too dramatic? I feel like Crystal's gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Of course, but that's what Grace does, right? Like, she's always talking about herself, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that she talked all about herself, and then And then Karen's just sitting there like, oh God, you know, just kind of like waiting for her to finish. And then she's crying and making a big dramatic, you know, scene. What was it that she said? She said that she was her mother's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
She was the light of her life.
Yeah.
The crying
And
was
Her
too
mom
much.
misses her.
her mom
It was
misses
too much,
her.
though. The
But
crying. It was like-
that's what I thought it was
Yeah,
funny.
it's
It was
like,
like
calm down.
corny. It was
Yeah.
so corny.
Yeah.
But that's what I kind of like the corniness of it. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's Grace. What do you expect?
Yeah, I was more touching on the fact that of just Grace making it about her and it's her business and all this stuff before we get to that part, because I liked how this episode did put it in all these people trying to get through to Karen, and then we finally see who does. But what did you guys think about the Grace and Will aspect of Grace saying that you work for me and Will saying that you work with me?
To me, it's the beginning of a bad idea. This is exactly why we kind of agree that they should not work together.
Oh, no, I
they
agree
haven't
they
even
should.
they haven't even started. They're having issues with the contract. He's doing some stuff without discussing with her. You know, I don't think it's looking too.
You
well.
don't think it's like business partners just feeling each other out?
But they're
That's just-
best friends. Friends can't mix well with money or anything like that. We all
what
know
I'm
that.
saying.
Please, I'm telling you. Yeah,
That's
he
what I
knows. This is a
said.
bad
I
think
don't
idea.
mix
setting
money or
something up.
friendship.
Maybe they end the season with even like them not talking to each other anymore because there's
But they
huge
did that
fallout.
before. They did
Yeah.
that 3 times
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And now it
Yeah.
disappeared. Now I'm back here.
Well, what did you guys? I mean, wouldn't you assume that business partners mean works with, not for? They agreed to be business
course.
partners.
Yeah.
Well, it matters on who owns how many shares. It's like if Grace owns 51 and he owns 49, then he's working for her.
I don't know.
What
I
he
just go back.
said.
I just go back to the last episode, and he said, "I want to work." She said, "I want you to work with me, not for me."
But let's understand, he's at a low point. He's depressed with his career. I think he's gonna just go on the next journey that's just gonna kind of take him away from his depressing attorney life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe a few weeks in, he'll realize, okay, this is not for me. I think I want my 9 to 6 attorney life.
And I think
Ooh.
Grace meant you're working for me because she's more educated in the business and he's not. So she has to teach him a few things. So you're working for me. I'm teaching you. You're my student.
Absolutely.
So that's how I kind of take it now. I was just thinking it through. I'm like, maybe that's the reason why she said that.
Piggybacking off of what you said, what if, because, I mean, if, let's say, Will ends up realizing, like, this is not for him, what if he ends up starting his own business and that becomes a competition?
Oh,
See,
Crystal, I like where
yeah.
you're going.
Yeah, think about that.
Didn't
Oh,
think about
maybe.
that. There you go.
I do have to recognize, because like I said, I thought this was one of the strongest episodes of Will and Grace. Not just this season, but the way that they balanced the comedy with the drama and the way that it was written. I felt like it was one of their strongest episodes in general. But Sean Hayes' performance in this, yes, Karen was amazing, but his physical comedy is so good. When he was doing the whole Bible like throwing and then talking about where he was
So
gonna
funny.
sit because he didn't want to sit next to Karen. That one scene in general, I was like, this is
So
brilliant.
funny.
Sean
Magic
Hayes.
spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
magic
dancing. The
spells.
dancing is what was my favorite.
That's why
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
one has an Emmy, because they are so damn
Very
good.
true.
Each
Yeah,
Very
his
true.
physical comedy, I think,
It's so
outstands
good.
his just regular other comedy, which is just as great, but it's like his
Yeah.
physical comedy is. A lot of people don't have physical comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just awkward.
Right.
But with him, it's like it works
so
really good.
funny.
Well, I just remember last episode, Sanders, you were saying that Sean Hayes as Jack this season just feels a little off. Like his voice isn't as high pitched, blah, blah, blah. We talked about this a little bit, but I felt like in this episode, he really got
Yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
back. That's
Yeah.
what I,
Yeah. I
Yeah,
felt
the
like
last
Right?
one, it seemed, the last one was rushed.
It was,
Yeah.
we won't talk about the last
Yeah. And
the
episode. We'll just
Jell-O.
disregard the last
Yeah.
episode. The Jello.
the Jello got me.
Amazing.
Give us our Jello.
Yeah. What was it that he said? That
She said I can have her
Rosario-
Jell-O.
Lord knows it. What was it that he said about the Jello that Rosario gave it? Rosario said I could have her Jello after he like made a big old thing about it.
Make sure she eats the Jello.
So dramatic, so funny. I love that part. That was like probably my favorite part right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
It's
So-
kind of sorry,
Yeah.
but it kind of reminds me when Jack was going into his apartment and Rosario was like cleaning the floor, and she's like, Rosario. He's like, oh, you're cleaning.
yeah.
Just
So
the screaming.
no surprise that Karen goes to a bar during this hard time. I was not surprised by that, but we do get to meet another old character, Smitty, who apparently never shuts it off. I loved Karen and Smitty's interaction.
So good.
What did you guys think about seeing him again?
I liked it. I knew what was gonna happen. You were sitting next to him. I'm like, I know what she's gonna do. She's gonna start laughing and say, "Oh, that's a funny joke," because that's their chemistry. That's
Yeah.
the line that they always use together.
It's really
He's
cute.
like, "My dad died," or this, that, this, and it's like, You're so funny.
I love it. I love the
I
chemistry.
agree.
You know,
Yeah.
there doesn't need to be a lot. You get what I'm saying? Like with everything else, it's so big, but it was so small, their interaction and the scene itself, that like it didn't need to be big, and it was still so
Yes.
funny. And I think they
Yes.
need to do a little bit more of that rather than like, you know, explosives. Like let's make this big and let's just be here and here and here and here. With that entire like, what was it, a couple scenes that they had?
Yeah.
It was just really simple, but
Yes.
hilarious.
Agreed.
Hilarious.
And it's
More of
just
that.
like, you know, that's what Will and Grace is known for, those small little gems that we will always cherish.
Yeah.
With Smitty and all of these amazing characters.
Yeah. What I loved about this episode is now as Karen is grieving, how Karen does, they have each character try to go and get through to her. Grace goes, and then this is where the whole, I guess, I don't even want to say tribute, because it really wasn't a tribute to Debbie Reynolds, but it was an acknowledgement of the fact that Debbie Reynolds did play Grace's mom, and she passed away. Do you think that Debbie Reynolds as Grace's mom would have made an appearance if she hadn't passed away in this season?
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe?
I mean, the show is such high caliber. I think absolutely, if they would have asked her, she would
Yeah,
have.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. What did we think of Jack's way of trying to get through to Karen, and how did we feel about Karen dismissing Jack so much? Because I was really surprised. I thought that Karen would lean on Jack because they're so close. They've been close since season 1, episode like 2 or 3.
You know, I think Jack is so afraid to get to that level, and that's why they showed Will just going for it and just hugging her
Yeah.
and letting
Yeah.
her feel him, versus
Yeah.
Jack kind of just, you know, trying to touch her, and she's like, Jack, don't touch me, just sing for me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't want to be vulnerable. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, maybe she doesn't know how to be vulnerable to Jack, because their relationship is more of a joking type of relationship.
true.
And then Grace, obviously, it's all about her. And so
That makes
with
sense.
Will, it seems appropriate for him to just be there and be like, you know, the shoulder that she needed to lean on, you
'Cause
know.
Absolutely.
Will is the more put together out of the four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be
He
real.
has
Yeah,
his
yeah.
stuff straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
No pun
100%
intended.
agree with you. And whenever we look back at previous season, it was always Will that got the seriousness out of Karen. It was
That's true.
nobody else.
Yeah.
That's true.
And with Jack, I don't think that he is mature enough to
All over the place.
to understand. Like, I think Karen puts him in a category of, you make me laugh, you
Right.
don't make me feel like
Yeah,
we
you
laugh
entertain
together.
me.
You entertain me. You don't get me out of like a slump.
But don't you think that because of what this episode did with Karen's character and breaking that boundary of her being this cold-hearted, just funny character, that they would have done the same thing with Jack, like giving him some more emotional, like meatiness to his role of like, hey, I can also be.
I want that for him.
Right?
Yeah, I love his energy. We love his physical dances and everything that he does as a character, but I want more like depth to him already.
No, I
Well,
disagrey. I like his
me
funniness.
too.
Yeah,
Really?
like that's
Yeah?
what makes Jack
Yeah.
Jack.
And they
yeah.
did that already when about his
Yeah.
grandson. They already touched
Yeah.
on that. So it's
Touched
like,
on it, but this,
True.
I just
well,
feel
that's
like,
enough.
Okay, all right. Sanders has spoken. I need to talk about this moment with Karen and Rosario because I felt like the writers and the show in general did a very, very good job of sending Rosario off. As much as I didn't like them killing her off in like my initial reaction, the way that they did it, I thought gave Rosario's character justice. I felt like it just was very, very well done. And I really enjoyed that moment. What did you guys think of that final moment with Karen and Rosario?
It was spot on. That's what I expected for her to be alone. She didn't want to interact with any other one there, like no one there, no priest, no random stranger. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I liked when she said the mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really like, that gave me a little, tearjerker down in here somewhere.
Yeah.
It almost made me sad.
Yeah.
It almost touched on that.
No, but I think it was great when it started out, when Karen was speaking to Rosario on the phone. I'm like, she's not gonna make fun of her Spanish, like whatever, like you know how she usually
Yeah,
does, but they
yeah,
made
of
up for it
course.
at the end. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm just pissed that they killed her off. Like, make her a rich woman living
Yeah.
somewhere in a mansion that's too busy.
I do think that
That would
they're
have been cool.
right.
Yeah.
I think that they could have done so much.
Like you
Yes.
said, a role, with issues with the border and all politics. Yeah, absolutely.
Something they could have touched on something. You know what I mean?
They
Like,
could have kept prolonging it. It's like,
Absolutely.
oh, she's behind a wall or something.
Yeah,
Like, make it a
something of
joke.
importance.
I mean, I don't want us to criticize the episode or that aspect of the episode too much because, like I said, I thought it was very
Great
well done.
episode.
It definitely got us in the heart.
Yeah.
But I thought they could have. The writers could have gone so many different ways, and I'm surprised that they picked this one. Just a little moment of critique. Karen said Rosario Yolanda Salazar. Her actual name is Rosario Inés Consuelo Yolanda Salazar.
See,
Why did they do that then?
I was waiting for it to be like that because like
Spanish people have really long names.
Yes. And I was like, that would have been so funny. That would have
And
been
Armenians,
the perfect.
long names.
Yeah, it's like the perfect way to end that had been if they had inserted that.
Yes.
Right? It would have been so funny. I was like thinking that the entire time. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because I was like, come on, guys.
You should have like 10 names on there.
And she did her character. That's her whole character name, and I'm surprised they only used the 3 names.
Interesting why they did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been more personal. I thought it would have
funny.
It would have shown that Karen actually knew all of her names.
Yeah.
To show that she really did love her and really cared for Rosario as
and then
a character.
having that before she said "Te amo, mommy," it would have been a perfect balance.
I agree.
Because I didn't think it was that funny when she said it. Like it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question. Do you think it was appropriate for Karen, or just for the show, to bring in the new maid when they were killing off Karen in that? Rosario in that episode. Should she have just been not in it?
I was okay with that because she was there in previous episodes too, so I was okay with that.
I thought it was just sort of opening the door of like how she would treat Rosario in a bad way, and now she's like, what does she call her, a river dancer? So they're just sort of like setting it up like, she's gonna get the same type of treatment.
Yeah. And I feel like them introducing the new maid not on episode 2, which I missed, but I felt like her being at the funeral and being there just allows for us as the audience to understand that somebody else is going to fill this role. Somebody else is going to start making their way into our lives in a different way. And I feel like this new maid, and I did not do the research on the actress, my bad, but I feel like she's going to do a very good job.
I think so
I don't think she's going to be our Rosario. I'm not saying that Rosario is always irreplaceable, but I feel like she's going to do a good job.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah, I do too. I think she's going to be funny.
I want to see what position she's going to take, because Rosario was like, I'm not taking your crap, Karen. Like, talk back, I'll talk back to you. I don't want to see the new maid doing that, because that's Rosario's role. I kind of want her just to like take it.
You want her to be more submissive.
Yeah.
I'm on the same page, actually.
This one actually, it looks like she stands on her own 2 feet, though. Her face. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
she looks
take,
very
yeah,
tough.
So we'll have to wait.
I think that's the way that they're
Maybe
going to go.
what
Yeah.
you know what would be funny if like she bossed Karen around.
Oh.
What if that relationship was
But
like
that's
that?
what Rosario did too,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know where the writers are going to go. I half agree with Sanders and I half agree with you, Louisa. I feel like I want her to be more submissive, but at the same time, I want her to kind of lash back out. At,
Maybe it can be a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Mm.
We do have a little sneak peek of a little insider information, you guys, because Sanders happened to just go to a live taping on Tuesday. And we want to hear all about it, so go ahead, take it away, Sanders. Right? So jealous.
Tell us, Sanders.
So, I'll tell you.
Tell me
So
the
I went
tea.
to this taping of Will and Grace, and it was the Christmas episode. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Don't give us spoilers.
No spoilers. But I will say they were all there.
Yep.
And it was a half episode because it was so much to film. I don't know if I should say. I'm not going to say it, but there was 2 things that they had to film and they didn't have enough time. So I saw a half episode, which I liked, because if I would have had to sit through 6 hours of filming, I would have lost my mind.
So how long were you there?
I was there for 3 hours.
Okay.
So it was like enough to last, because I noticed when they were filming the episode, they did, I think they did 4 scenes, and each scene they did like several times with different lines, and they were so different. So I'm dying to see what they're gonna use. So they would do their lines, they'll get the laughs, and then the writers would ball up in a little circle and be like, and then give them new lines, all new lines, and they would do it again.
Are they on
with comedy.
teleprompter?
They always do that.
No
with comedy.
teleprompter, just
Okay.
memory. Literally, they were like, Debra was like, "What's my line again?" Deborah was she was having a moment. She was having a moment, but it was Halloween, and it was an added day for the episode. So she probably had her day planned to spend with her kids, but they just added it. That's how I got tickets. So she probably just wanted to go hang out with her kids for Halloween, but she was having moments. Professional, but having moments. Yes. What else happened there? The range of jokes that they gave. They went really extreme with one joke. I don't know if I should say it.
Say it.
They might not use it.
Yeah, they might not use it. So
yeah.
There was a scene that they were at a restaurant waiting to get called, and there was this. I'll use the line that Grace used. He, she, her, they. So that's what she said. She's like,
she, her, they?
Yeah, he, she, her, they.
Oh.
And I don't know if they're going to use it or not, but this person had like a bob, but a mustache, but feminine and French, but was from Queens.
Wow.
Yeah, so the way they made their jokes, and then Karen said something in another scene about, immigrants, like something, brown people. And then, but then they did something a lot lighter. So I don't know what they're going to use. They went extreme, middle, then kind of like.
They usually do that with comedy.
Yeah. But they said that they go off of how much the audience laughs. And the audience laughed, like I laughed really hard every single time because it was so funny. But I do feel that they take our laughter and insert our laughs to different scenes.
Really?
They don't. I feel like they do that.
They do.
Yeah, even though it's not fake, we might be laughing a little bit more on a joke that they want to use, so they might use our laugh track for something else, but I feel like each audience gets their own episode.
Let's talk about that really quick. Do you guys feel like when you're watching a show and something isn't funny, but the laugh track starts laughing, so you automatically start laughing? Do you think that's why they do it?
Yeah, because you're like, should I have gotten that? Maybe I should have laughed, or why am I not, consuming it the same way? So it has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, that's it. That's an interesting. Because every time I see an episode or something, I'm always like, oh, that wasn't really funny, but I'm on the same page as you. I'm always like, maybe I should have got that. Maybe I'm the slow one because there's a laugh track.
Like, why?
So it's fascinating that you think that they would take some. I mean, but it's television, you guys. Yeah. It's fake. It's not. I mean, it's not like.
I can't. I almost forgot about this.
Don't say it.
There's gonna be a CGI moment, and I hope it's better than the feathers. There's a CGI moment, so let's.
In the episode that you watched.
Yeah, so they did it with real objects.
Okay.
And then they took the objects away. And they're like, we're just going to do CGI. Then I'm like, ooh, okay, let's see how that works.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want to know how the actors were when the cameras were off. I want to know, like, how they interacted with each other. Were they friendly to each other? Were they friendly to the audience? How were they?
All right, so they were really nice. It's exactly like you see if you're like a Uber fan and you watch like the B-roll behind the scenes on the DVDs or Blu-rays. They act exactly like that. They make the little jokes. They dance around. The mic is always on, so we always hear every word they say.
That's not good though, right? Because they might just slip out.
Oh no, they curse. They go crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So the way that the thing is set up, like we're the audience, and then they have different like 1 stage, 2 stage, 3 stage, 4 stage, and then there's one around there. Like it's a lot of stages. But Eric McCormack got on the microphone and talked to us a few times, said a few jokes. It was like really funny. And then when I was leaving, I'm like, Megan, she's like, hi. I'm like, ah, I like cried.
Did you tell her that we do a show and that she should come on?
I wanted to, but someone was pushing me from behind. I'm like,
okay.
I find it so hard to believe, as much as they are so close on set and on the show, they hadn't seen each other for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's just so weird to me.
I think it's weird in any kind of like sitcom, especially with Friends and everything, like just Friends or Buffy or like any show that runs for a long period of time, when the actors stop working with each other and then they don't see each other.
Sex and the City is a great
example. Sex and the City, yeah. It's like you are with these people more than your family.
Oh, correction about Sex and the City. Kim Cattrall says they were never friends.
Oh.
But that's a whole different show, so let's not get into
we can get deep into that.
Yeah, but also I want to say that the crew is all the same. The guy who was the hype man for the audience while they were switching cameras and stuff is the same person from season 1.
Shut up.
Even the DJ is the same DJ. He didn't call him a DJ. I think his name was DJ something. I can't remember. But the same DJ.
Same makeup artist.
Yeah, same
Absolutely.
DJ. Yeah, same.
That's great.
I love that though. It's so real and raw, just like day one.
It's a family.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, each episode episode, I believe, is it. So if you went to the Christmas one, right? So we watched that episode 6 weeks after it's shot. So a lot of political changes happened. So they
addressed that.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with Eric, and he said that sometimes we have to change some stuff because what we joke about already happened. So they talked about that too.
Yeah. So someone asked, what do you do when there's a huge current event with politics or something? How do you fix that? And they go over with voiceovers and do that. They do voiceovers. So if you hear someone talking but you don't see their mouth moving, it's a voiceover.
Got it.
So it's like showing Grace but Will's talking. Voiceover with Will.
That's
So,
really
That
that's
makes
really
sense.
cool.
Ad lib.
Yeah, totally.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Before seeing the taping, who was your favorite character, and did that change after you saw the live taping?
My favorite too was Karen and Jack, and it's still Karen and Jack.
Really?
Yeah, I think that just their chemistry is a lot stronger than Debra and, well, if I want to, Will and Grace.
Yeah, it's easier to say that.
Yeah, it's like, their chemistry is a lot stronger behind the scenes also. Not like they're better friends, but like you just feel the energy there. Or maybe I'm just biased because I'm like a uber fan of them too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just felt it like that.
Their spirit, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you feel that energy, that spirit.
Yeah.
You could tell they're very alive.
Oh yeah, it's pouring out of the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, and they messed up a lot.
Did they really?
They messed up a lot. Like, a lot,
I mean, like
a lot.
you said, they get the lines like right
They
there.
do.
They're changing
They
the
do.
lines constantly.
Oh, yeah.
So
They
it's
do.
not
I think they
surprising.
probably
It's not.
just like, each scene, like each time they go over with new jokes, it's a whole new line that they have to learn within
Yeah,
a second. And then
right.
That's talent right there.
Yeah, it's all about memory. I think with actors, if you have great memory, then you're a good actor.
Yeah.
They ate a lot of honey.
something.
Honey
They have
is
some, what is that ginkgo biloba or something?
Yeah, I need that.
But yeah, and they said that what was I saying? The changing of the name, the lines, and then one of the writers, I can't remember which one it was, would like run up to the actor and be like,
Yeah.
and then like, okay, and they were like, do you want me to do it like louder, funnier?
Yeah.
So like do it like that, but then the last scene you did, do it like that, and they're like, okay, and it was like da-da-da-da-da, boom.
Yeah.
But there was times where they were shooting one scene at least 15 times
Yeah,
because
that's
Eric
normal.
couldn't get his line right. He couldn't get it right, and then they made like jokes, but it was less let's entertain the audience and more like. It felt like they didn't notice us. They weren't always like, oh yeah, they were
Well, if you think about
doing
it,
their
they
thing.
are
have to
working.
be.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are working.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get out. That thing was not planned.
Of course,
You can tell
yeah.
they really wanted to leave. And then when we were leaving, they shot a single cam shot without the audience. So they shot a scene without us there. So I don't know what the scene is.
They usually do that.
But it's overall, it's a Christmas episode. And I'll just leave it at that.
Just to tie it back to this episode in general, do you think that last scene with Karen and the coffin, do you think that that would be an instance where they would shoot a scene without the audience just because it is more of a somber moment and the actor probably wants to feel vulnerable and doesn't want a whole audience like staring at her while she does something like that?
That would be
I
a
think
good way
it's a
of
lot of
doing it.
spoilers too. Like they won't film. I've been on set enough to know that like for certain scenes, if they're huge, they won't want to film it in front of the audience because it's a spoiler. Yeah, so
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they showed the second scene that they shot is a big thing that's going to be happening in the episode, but they lifted up the curtain and showed us what was going to happen anyway because it was so good.
They didn't have you guys sign anything? Or?
Nope, no signing anything, no.
Well, I still don't want to know,
That's
so don't tell us.
interesting.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was
not.
really, really good.
Yeah.
it's incredible though. Like I'm always on set, so I could say that with comedy, they're like that. Everything he says is spot on. Like.
Yeah.
They're throwing lines out and saying, say it this way. Okay, now say it that way.
Exactly.
Okay, like be a little bit more like loud in this part and quieter in this part and say it like you're sad. Say it like you're happy, right? It's
Oh yeah. Sean Hayes was doing like 2 words, and he said it like 50 different ways.
Yeah.
Wow.
With hand movements and then not hand movements and then with a wink of the eye, then not a wink of the eye, then
Yeah.
he moved his foot, but he
Yeah.
didn't move his like
It's a lot of
it was
improv.
a
Yeah.
lot. And I was just like, what are they gonna use?
Yeah.
So hopefully they use there were some parts where you can just tell like you hear the audience like
Yeah.
and it wasn't really that funny. So I'm assuming they're gonna go with a few other
Yeah.
things. But it's just crazy the range of how strong they went with their jokes and how they dialed it back with different takes.
Well, once the episode airs, I really want to talk to you about it. again afterwards to see like, are you happy with what they chose?
Yeah.
Did you think was there something else that you might have
that's gonna be
changed?
good.
So we'll talk about it. Thank you for going to that taping and like giving us a little bit more insight.
I felt like I was with you.
I know, it was very detailed.
Takes a damn village.
Oh, I was like, I need to pick up every morsel of this.
Yes, we appreciate it. What was your favorite line of this episode, you guys?
I have two.
Okay, well, let's shout it off with our new co-host.
Okay, so right off the bat, what got me was when Karen said, "Sorry I'm late, but I
got here as soon as I
wanted to." Love that one. And then the second one was by Jack when he said, "I'm more confused than Brittany on stage on Vegas."
Yeah.
Oh, that bothered me because I actually saw Brittany at Vegas and she's great.
Yeah.
She is great, you guys. Don't talk about Brittany.
Those are my two favorites.
Those are really good.
Yeah.
I liked when Karen says to Rosario, hands her or takes off her mother's ring and then says, "Lord knows you've been eyeing it."
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
She's
Karen.
like, "Here, this is
Lord
for
knows
you.
you've been eyeing
Lord knows you've been eyeing it all
Perfection.
this years." Yeah.
That was a good
So
one.
I thought that was really funny. That was like a good way to kind of like end that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved everything that you guys mentioned, especially like the "sorry I'm late, but I would have came here sooner if I wanted to."
Yeah.
But then also just the jab at the new maid. It's like, who asked you rubber dance?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think just starting it off the gate, "Sorry I'm late, I got here as soon as I wanted to,"
That's
was
the winner.
everybody's
That's the
favorite
one. That's a
line.
caption we're gonna
Because
use
you
on
can
Instagram.
literally go into work and that's all you want to say when you're late.
And I kind of seen that scene 2 days ago because they put it on YouTube and I loved it right. And that was my line before I even got here. I knew that was going to be my favorite.
Yeah, that was definitely my
Exactly.
favorite. But my second favorite would probably have been, "Jack, go get the magic book with all the spells."
Oh, yes. I don't know why
That was amazing.
She reads the Bibles. Oh, I was dead.
And the balloons.
Oh,
When
put these
she's
in
like-
water.
No, she said there's no balloons for "it's a maid" or "it's a girl."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? The thoughtlessness that counts. That's what Will said.
Some smart one-liners.
I really want to know like the alternative lines that they could have used for like the spells and all that stuff. Like I want to know how far they would have went. Like there's other options out there that we'll never know.
That's going pretty far. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm all about it, but I mean that was one of those jaw-dropping. Like,
But she could have been like, "Where's those book of lies?"
oh,
You
yeah,
know,
that's
she could have
true.
said that.
That's very
So-
true.
And then the show would get so many comments on Twitter, like,
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our episode. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
Way better than the last one.
Agreed.
Still not better than the one with the third
one? Was it
Yeah, it was like the third or fourth. Yeah, third one that we really loved. But I think they're going in a better direction, being that they only have 6 episodes left. We're halfway through the season. Please bring back Vince. Don't wait till the last episode. I need my Italian
oh,
stallion.
he's so cute.
Completely agree. Crystal, anything?
I guess it's same thing as Sanders is saying. Like, keep doing what you're doing. I
Yeah.
mean, let's just move it forward. Let's not get too political. In fact, my financial advisor said him and his partner did not like that it's been going too political. So that's great. You know, I think it's kind of getting away from that, and let's get back to the old like Will and Grace.
Yeah. Louisa, any final thoughts?
So I agree with 2 of them, and also I want to say is I want to know why why Grace and Leo really did get the divorce. I want to explore that more. I feel like that was just left off so whatever.
I really don't think Leo's coming back, but go on.
Well, I just want her.
I know, I
personal
got you.
Vince, I do want Vince to come back. Also, just like you said, too much politics, right? It just takes it away from that humor, that raw, dry humor they have. So.
Yes. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Vince once he does make an appearance. And they have a pretty much a theme. They're always bringing back all these old characters. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him, who maybe hasn't aged today. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's still as attractive as he once he was.
He is.
He's
I'm
gorgeous.
sure he is. I do want to get back to the relationship between Jack and his son. I hope that Elliot makes an appearance again.
Oh, talking about children, the real gag would be Olivia Mason.
What?
Karen's
her
stepchildren,
Olivia
they need to
Mason,
come
yes.
back.
Could you imagine?
They gotta be dating the Trump kids.
Oh, stop.
That would be hilarious.
I think the producers really need to call you, Sanders, because you have some good ideas, Bill. So that has been our recap of Rosario's Quinceanera. R.I.P. Rosario. We will miss that character. I felt like, once again, this episode was very well done. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me all on Instagram and Twitter at LuluSharTV.
You guys can find me at Cristal823 on all social media.
And I'm Sanders Kennedy. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Just Sans World.
And like Karen says, Te amo, viewers. I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. Thank you guys for tuning in for Season 9, Episode 6. We will see you next week. Same time, same day. Bye, guys.
Bye. Awesome.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.